So, there are 5 key ways to take down Nancy Pelosi as a billionaire, and they might actually surprise you. Now, as a person of nearly unlimited resources, you have an ample variety of weapons in your arsenal, ranging from getting a team to find an old homophobic tweet, to acquiring a slave labor bot farm to annihilate her ass. But those are the minor leagues. You'll come to find that Nancy Pelosi has more secrets to be exploited, and they're far darker than you'd care to believe. Buried deep underground. Which is where she should be, actually. I mean, come on, look at those hollow eyes and tell me she doesn't look like a work of taxidermy. But her living corpse is still up and running. How do you go about absolutely ruining her? All in good fun. Terms and conditions apply.
That sign can't stop me because I can't read.
Let's explore some of our Pelosi ruining options, shall we? The most obvious in this day and age is to orchestrate a cancellation. That is, to use the internet to your advantage, wielding your team to accomplish maximum damage. And yeah, you heard me right. Team. You may be mega rich, but you can't ruin someone like Nancy Pelosi all on your own. So let's assemble our nightmare squad. The too serious, suit-wearing recruiter that will crack a good-hearted joke by the end of the deed.
Hey, next time, try keeping the weight off in between.
The weed-smoking PR guy who is particularly good at slipping envelopes of money through tables. The necessary, sexy femme fatale whose purpose is to, yeah, and the genius hacker guy, the only Asian person you will see in your entire life, apparently. Okay, now back to canceling the undead. This can be done in numerous ways. For one, it's widely believed fact that Pelosi is racist. In fact, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez labeled her one as she accused her of explicit singling out of newly elected women of color. Of course, Cortez's claims are sometimes not the most credible, since she does seem to be obsessed with canceling just about everyone. But that's beside the point. Plus, with our luxurious budget, we could go about planting some fake racist tweets even.
Don't mess with me when it comes to words like that.
Or paying roughly, I don't know, $20K to get people to make false racist claims. Bonus points if it's an influencer. And though those are definitely more expensive, they're very much worth it. And it's pocket change to you, right? What do you say? For $100K for each waist training, diet pushing influencer? Attaboy. Additionally, Trump himself came out to defend Pelosi as not being racist. Definitely not a good look for her if Trump, of all people, has to come out and defend you.
Pocahontas, I think she's as Native American as I am, okay?
And we certainly cannot brush over the fact that her father, Thomas D'Alessandro, was mayor of Baltimore from 1947 to 1959, and during that time oversaw racially segregated housing and schooling. Seems like a pretty chill guy, huh? But I know what you're thinking. Most politicians are racist anyway. We do not have a single moral fiber in our beings. So let's move on to our next tactic. Using her privilege against her. Now, most politicians are severely out of touch.
If you Google the word idiot, a picture of Donald Trump comes up. How would that happen?
It's a truth that's universally acknowledged. But Nancy Pelosi? Well, even other Democrats regard her as a rich limousine liberal. It's evident to see how tactless she is by her backhanded comments stating that uneducated white males voted Republican because of guns, gays, and God. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty sick band name to me.
Nice scatting, man.
I think I said dupe instead of boop at one point.
It's also impossible to forget back in 2008 when she dismissed $1,000 of worker bonuses given in response to the GOP tax cuts as crumbs. What's that saying? Eat the rich? Well, I personally wouldn't be too eager to dig into Nancy Pelosi's decaying flesh, but I could settle for the crumbs. Still, despite her generally being a deplorable person, it isn't enough. So let's dig deeper. Why not, I don't know, tie her to the Italian Mafia?
Good morning.
After all, Pelosi is highly involved in the Italian-American community, having served for 13 years as a board member of the National Italian-American Foundation, which some people just immediately tie to the Mafia. Add in the little fact that her father, the very non-racist one, was allegedly a constant companion of the Boston mobster, and you've got yourself a myth that can't be fully proven, but can't really be disproven either. And if you're in the mood to be a bit crazier with your cancellation tactics, you could always try and ignite a sex scandal. Any 1%er is bound to have some weird sexual preferences. For some reason. And we already know it's a clean-cut method of ruining a politician's career. For For example, there was even a forged court document distributed to the media of a false accusation against Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer, and the man had to get the police involved due to the scandal. Of course, unearthing a real sex scandal is risky and taxing business, but nothing that your stereotypical brain tech guy can't unearth. And if there's nothing fishy there, just make your own sex scandal, paying someone off to make a false accusation. Sure, it's detrimental to real victims and is a morally unacceptable thing to do, but you're a billionaire, boss, Sigma-based Chad who doesn't give a f. So what does it matter? Plus, there's been a few, granted questionable websites that have claimed that Pelosi will leave her post before the end of the year due to 6 accusations of sexual harassment. Might be more to it than meets the hollow, dead eyes. Jesus! You know, they say that the eyes are the windows to the soul, but I don't know if this woman has one. Anyway, you may be asking yourself, I'm rich as hell and I'm impatient. Why keep digging for information when I already know that I can create it? Let's say that Nancy Pelosi would be squeaky clean, which is impossible, but for the sake of the argument, what you can do is use some of that delicious green of yours to buy a bot farm, pretty much a slave labor camp, of people that will harass the living shit out of Pelosi on, say, Twitter, the ultimate hellscape, and fill her replies with saucy, disgusting facts on her, and even some made-up crap for the fun of it. The first obvious step is to acquire a bot farm with at least 50 staff members. Hey, as a rich person, you're creating jobs, right? Never mind that your staff will likely be severely underpaid Indian people. You are a billionaire, but that doesn't mean that you have to pay livable wages. What are you? A peasant? Brainy tech genius can do the pesky investigations for this bit. Next, your PR guy needs to set up a meeting with the farm boss. If they're too busy working on illegal porno, he'll take care of offering them more money than they can refuse. So those useless little flies can have a budget of 2 cute little millions. Whatever. Once you have your sweatshop workers, your very happy employees that can definitely go to the bathroom, you can go about setting your swarm of Nancy ruiners loose and watching the sweet, sweet damage they inflict. If that sounds like too much work, there are more relevant platforms than, say, Twitter, and with the amount of money and pull you have, you can begin bribing news channels and different forms of media to trash talk her, stalk her every waking move, waiting for her to slip up, or just do what media does best, blow things out of proportion and ruin lives.
Could resort to chemical or biological weapons.
Let's get 2 very reputable sources to smear her. Both CNN and Fox should work well. They can decide whether they think the juicier story comes from a sex scandal, alleged mafia ties, or racism. We all know which one Fox doesn't care about. So let's throw some pocket change at them. Say 150K, 250K each? But hey, why stop there? You can also pay off a bunch of political YouTubers to make videos bashing her, and their loyal audience will be swayed into hating that heinous fucking bitch. Who knows? Maybe I was hired by someone to start this, and I'm actually Pelosi's #1 fan. Not likely. There's too many reasons to hate her. Whether it's because she f***ed you over with healthcare plans or was a notable participant in the economic collapse of 2008, or she, f***ed your sister's husband and then ran over your cat in her red, white, and blue Mercedes. I'm sure we can all relate. I know you hate her and you want to get it over with quickly, so you might be wondering why not just snipe her? Well, that would be illegal. But hey, I guess nothing's illegal if you have enough money. Even when you end up dishing out, how much would the total be? Around $3,720,000, right? Nah, you've spent more on hookers. So gather your squad, get those whips cracking, and the Twitter stands writhing. Make it rain, and get ready to make some major, creepy old lady damage. Nothing will stop your billionaire Sigma goals.